What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to go over the CPI report that came out this morning. I want to touch on stimulus and what we could potentially see moving forward, because lawmakers keep flipping from one extreme to the next, but they have been consistent with one thing, and I want to address what that is. We also know that the House passed the $1.5 trillion government spending bill, so that's good news there. And then I want to provide you some news on Russia and Ukraine. So let's get into the update. First off, I just want to say thank you guys for always hitting that like button for one, but always putting comments down in the comment section. That's one of the things I do look at every single day. As I come here and read what you guys' comments are to just see what kind of questions you have, but try to answer them in these videos. So let's get right down to it. The CPI expectation for month over month was supposed to be 0.8%. Year over year is 7.9%. Now, the CPI report came in as expected. We have inflation at 7.9%. And you're going to see all over the news, big headline number, that this is the highest amount of inflation we've seen in like 40 years, right? 4 decade highs, right? Well, we have seen these over the past few months. It's nothing new. It's just the inflation rate just keeps going up, right? The reports just keep getting higher. That's all it is. So even though people say, oh, it's a new record, well, it's the same record. We just keep beating it. That's all it is. But I wanted to just say, even though we are sitting at just under 8% inflation, many expect next month we're going to see a major jump. I don't know exactly how high we're going to get, but a lot of it's going to be fueled based off of this war that's currently going on in Ukraine. Everyone is like, no, it's not Ukraine, it's not Russia, it is the supply chains. Yes, the supply chains are an issue, but they have been an issue. The pandemic was an issue, or is an issue, but it's also been an issue. We learned to live through the pandemic, live through these supply chain shortages and worker shortages and all these other things. But it's the issue with Ukraine that next month is going to be severe. But let's look at some of the actual categories, because this is what is extremely important. Because here's what's happening. Energy is up 3.5% month over month. Honestly, next month, that's likely to jump. Gas is up 6.6%. I don't think I have to tell you this. You probably already know this. Gas is up more than 6.6% month over month, right? Last month, right, we were seeing gas prices. They weren't that expensive compared to what they are now. It's insane today. We know rent is up 0.6% month over month. I want to touch on this for a second, because rent is finally starting to see it go up. Remember, I told you rents were expected to go up. Next month, rents are expected to go up again. I would anticipate rents are going to go up for everybody this year. Because if your lease is up, your chances are your landlord is going to hit you with an increase. Okay? Food at home is up 1.4%. This is actually seen as a good thing, because if more people are buying food for their home, chances are they're less likely to go and eat out. Now, eating out, going to restaurants, that's great for the economy. It helps out, the business, helps out the community, right? The workers that are there. That's great. But at the same time, from a saving standpoint, if you eat at home, chances are you're going to spend less money, which means if you have more money, you can spend it elsewhere. So that's good news that food at home is going up. That should mean that people are saving money in a sense, as opposed to always eating out. Health insurance is actually up 1.9% month over month, which sucks because, well, kind of need health insurance. Public transportation is up 3.5% as well, and airline fares are up 5.2% month over month. For airline fares, I wouldn't be too concerned about this. We know this happens every single year, okay? Because again, this report is for February, not for March. It's for February, which means this is when people start buying their trips, start booking their flights and their vacations for the spring. So airline fares going up 5.2%, no big deal. We did see that some stuff did come down, like furniture came down, men's outerwear, suits actually went up. Women's dresses came down. Women's outerwear went down. Jewelry decreased as well. And so did actually used cars and trucks. That was actually pretty big, that used cars and trucks is coming down. But keep this in mind. If gas prices stay elevated for some time, truck prices are going to fall, but used cars will likely increase. So even though we could see this number go negative next month, we could still see used car prices go up, but trucks are dropping so significantly. That's the reason they might be coming down. So just keep that in mind. Now, I want to touch on something that I mentioned the other day, and that's where multiple economists are calling pretty much for lawmakers or the Biden administration to provide additional stimulus to the American people. But I want to be very clear on something. Just because this could help some people, it wouldn't help everybody. And this is the issue that lawmakers have, is Democrats, especially coming into this midterm elections, they don't want to pass some type of provision that's only going to give a small portion of people this relief or benefit, because then that excludes everybody else, and everybody else could potentially vote against them. So it's because of this that lawmakers are actually looking for more of a broad way to provide relief. And currently, what they're saying is they have to figure out a way to bring gas prices down. Just so you know, gas prices yesterday were at $4.25 a gallon. Today, they're $4.31 a gallon nationally as an average. So, but let me know, what are gas prices where you live? Currently for me, gas prices, I believe last night when I was driving around, which probably shouldn't be driving around, but gas prices were $4.60 some cents, 69 cents, something like that. That was just at one gas station. Who knows what it is, in the area, but we'll see. But anyway, lawmakers are using gas prices, and they want to provide relief for gas prices, because what we are seeing in all the different reports and really surveys that have been done recently, there's two things that the American people are worried about. One is inflation. Now, inflation, the Federal Reserve can bring it down. They can just cause a recession and bring inflation right back down. But nobody wants that. The second thing the American people are worried about, which is very tough, is gas prices. So lawmakers are using gas prices as a way to try to find some relief. And this is where many are still discussing a potential gas tax holiday, because this would help out many people. But then they also say there's other provisions that could help as well. But the hard part is trying to figure out, are gas prices going to stay elevated for quite some time, or will it be transitory? Will it be very quick? We'll see a couple months of high gas prices, and then it'll just come right back down. Now, here's what I want to point out. I don't think gas prices are just going to jump to $4.31, which they are today, and then maybe keep going up to, let's say, $5, and then just come falling back down to $3. I don't see that happening. Will they go up to maybe $5 and then or $6 and then come back down to maybe the high 3s, low 4s like we're seeing right now? That's more likely. But what the American people want, according to experts, is they just want to see gas prices stay stable. If they can remain stable, then people can figure out what their gas budget will be. But if they keep going up, that's the issue. That's where people worry that they won't be able to afford to fill up their gas tank. So we'll see. Now, many lawmakers are still pushing for other stimulus as well. And these are things like the child tax credit payments. They want to get these extended. This would be a big boost to parents. They say that President Biden is still likely to extend the student loan payment pause past May 1st, right? We're coming up on that, right? Well, in less than 2 months. The expectation at this point is that if President Biden can extend the student loan payment pause past May 1st, that would be great. Then the expectation is the education department would come in and forgive student loans at some point. Chances are it would most likely be in the summer. And the goal would be to push the payment pause back and cancel student loans, according to reports, for Democrats, because this would be a huge boost to Democratic numbers right before the elections. So again, we'll see. Now, both of these things, the child tax credit payments and student loan payment pause, according to reports, this should be a huge boost to spending for parents and those with student debt. But what we are currently going to see is Congress is going to push to get something done. We don't know what they're going to include. We don't know what's going to be there. We don't know how it's going to pass, who's going to support it, but they want to get something done. That's what we know. Now, let's talk about what else we do know from today is that the House actually passed a $1.5 trillion government spending bill. This is good news. Finally, this is getting done. This has been getting pushed back. We've been seeing continuing resolution after continuing resolution. So it's good news. It's finally going to pass. This bill is going to include $13.6 billion to Ukraine. It will not provide anything for COVID aid, but the House has stated that they will try to pass something for COVID aid sometime next week. So we will see if they actually do that. This bill, this $1.5 trillion bill, it will provide $730 billion for non-defense spending and $743.4 billion for defense spending itself. This bill was actually passed in two separate tranches. The defense, and again, it's overwhelming support for this. Okay, don't get me wrong, but the defense portion passed 361 to 69, and the non-defense portion passed 260 to 171. Now, obviously, if this the non-defense portion had the COVID aid in it, it probably would have got more like the 361 to 69 vote. But a lot of people vote against it. Now, the Senate does plan to vote on this before midnight tomorrow night, which is Friday, because that's when this bill has to pass and has to be signed by President Biden. But just in case the Senate is not able to, the House actually thought of this as well. So the House sent over to the Senate a 4-day spending bill through March 11th through March 15th. And this is just in the event that the Senate gets behind and can't pass this. But the expectation is that this bill will be passed very soon, whether it's going to be passed by tomorrow or if it's going to take an additional 4 days, the Senate will pass this bill. That's what everybody's expecting, both Republican and Democrat. So we'll see. Let's talk about some Russia and Ukraine news for a second, because we did hear from both foreign ministers for both Russia and Ukraine. They met for about 90 minutes, and they both stated that the talks didn't go as planned. There was no progress made to end the war, because let me just explain this. Ukraine wants the war to end. Russia wants the war to end. Ukraine wants Russia to just leave the country. Russia wants Ukraine to surrender. Now, Russia stated that they, now in a roundabout way, their foreign minister pretty much alluded to the fact that they're going to continue their attacks until Ukraine meets all the goals from Russia, or Ukraine surrenders. One of the two things. So we're going to see what happens here, but as expected, this is not something that is just going to, this little war, this war is not going to go on for just a couple weeks and then be over with. The expectation is Ukraine is going to fight it out. Russia is going to fight it out. And we will see what happens. But as of right now, the expectation is this could potentially go on for months. Now, I don't mean just maybe 1 or 2 months. This could really drag on. So, we will see. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor. Go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.